So everything.
We're away. Episode 12. It's
Okay.
about 3 months in.
Mm.
I forgot to look at our percentage of people that drop off after this period of time. We're getting up there all the time. Every week it gets better.
Yeah. Well, over that hump of not having things to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what happens to a lot of people, right? They just start to lose that. I think for us, we're getting a bit more momentum. It's good. We've got a few interviews lined up as well.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the World Athletics Championships. I've watched a bit of it. I didn't get to watch the men's 400. I haven't found the final yet, would you believe? I've been looking for it on the SBS replays.
It's on. I mean, the men and women's. I mean, the men's quality of the 400 wasn't as high as latter years, but it was a very open field with Stephen Gardner pulling out in the semi with that hamstring issue. It just opened it up for 5 runners that could have won it, and the guy that did win it, the Jamaican guy. I mean, he was 3rd or 4th in turning for home, so he had to work. He had to work for it. And it was 44 low, so it's not a shabby time. But at the end of the day, no one ran 43s, which Stephen Gardner was in 43.5 shape. He would have been unbeatable had he have run, but he didn't. But anyway, and the women's 400 was a hugely high quality, even with Sydney McLaughlin pulling out. It was 48 low, won it.
I think overall the women were the highlight for me of the entire meet. I think some of the women's races were just amazing.
All the women have been the best to watch, other than the men's probably 200, which was amazing. But there's a couple of things. My standout, and I follow her closely, was Femke Bol. If you watch Femke Bol, she opened her campaign falling over and losing.
All over.
Right? She then went on and go and watch the women's 4x400 relay. She gets the baton in 3rd. She had a ton of work to do. She turned for home still in 3rd. And got it on the line. So she just got there to win the gold medal.
I watched her run in the 4x4. What was interesting, and I hadn't seen many of her races before, and I think she ran 49 something for the 400, the 4x4. I think I heard them say she has no change of speed at all.
No, she's well. There's a couple of ways you could view that. You could say
it appears that way.
It appears that way because she ran 49.25 indoors, so she's clearly got some speed somewhere. But what I thought when I watched her run it. And I know she's got her top end would not be as fast as Sydney McLaughlin, but she holds that top end for a really long time. And I believe what she was doing, because she knows her strengths so well, she just stayed patient. She stayed patient. She didn't overcook it. She sat behind these 2 girls and she just waited and waited and waited for her opportunity. And that shows a high level of maturity in 400-meter running. Whereas you see a lot of the men, they get rip around when they're behind in that back straight. They go straight to 1st, and then they get into the 300 and they're off a cliff. And then they come 5th.
It amazes me, so-called professional athletes at that level now, and when you throw them in a relay, how wrong they can get it.
They just get it wrong. Yeah, and they do it all the time. And it's
all the time.
They do it all the time. The women seem to be a little bit more measured. Femke Bol's run was the most measured 400-meter relay run I've ever seen. Because
was she the final? Was she the anchor leg?
Anchor, yes.
Yeah, I saw the race, and I was just really surprised at how steady and how measured the race was. But she doesn't change speed at all, And I thought there was a point there where someone was coming up on her a little bit, and I thought, she's going to actually push a little bit here. Nope, she doesn't. But her speed that she's able to hold for the whole 400 is obviously so high that she knows mentally no one else can actually hold this speed that I'm running down the straight. They're going to fall off. But I think she runs so relaxed and so unemotional in her face that she doesn't look like she's going very fast, right?
Yes. And I've watched her in training sessions do short sprints through speed gates. And she's got a turn of foot. She's run. I mean, she's she's a sub 1200 meter runner. So she's in the 11s. So she's not shabby at all in that regard. But she's not, you wouldn't say she's like Alison Felix, who also ran 49s for consistently over 400 meters. She ran 10.9 for 100. So,
But I think she runs very similar. I mean, she doesn't really have that, big turn of speed. She's very consistent in her running. She has the same fluid turnover, runs really beautifully across the ground.
But she's got a 21.69 PB over 200.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good, But then again, and I look at the women's 200, obviously Sharika Jackson, who ran 10.54 a couple of months ago, and her preparation was going perfectly in the 100. And then she got dusted by Sha'Carri Richardson in 10.65. So that obviously got under her skin. She's come out in the 200 and absolutely made fools of everyone. She just ran, I think she ran 21.46, something like that. It was a her back end she was just indestructible. Like she's one of the greatest 200 meter runs we've seen in 40 or 50 years.
Yeah.
So,
there's definitely some good races, but I thought the women's pole vault was pretty amazing. The girl, and I don't recall her name, but I think she got a silver, equal silver maybe. That it was a phenomenal, and again she stayed so strong and so focused and so stoic. And look, pole vault, so there's so many variables in it. It's so easy to get it wrong, and I'm sure mentally it must get inside your head so quickly in the pole vault, right? And the fact that you're going back and you get one attempt after the other, it's, as I said before, with 100 you get one crack at it, you don't get to go back and have another go. You might through the rounds, but it's not like, oh, I missed the start, can we go back and go again? With the vault, you get to do that. But I thought it was a great event, the pole vault. And then I think the women's 1500, there was some Australian girl, and I don't even want to mention her name. We don't have many listeners, but I don't recall her name. But even if I did, I wouldn't say it. But someone went to the front really rapidly in the race, and then this young Australian girl followed her out.
Yep.
And completely blew up. And I think she ran last or second.
Yep.
And I'm like, I know you're young. Now, does this come back to the individual on the day that just gets it so wrong? Or does this come back to poor coaching? I mean, she went out. Look, have they said to her, you're not going to win this race. Let's just go out and try and mix things up. And if someone leads from the front, just go with them and try and hang on. But at some point in time, you've got to know your internal speed and how long you can hang on, right? I just didn't see the point of actually doing running the race that way. Or in her brain was, even if I sit in the pack, once they kick, I'm just going to drop off the back anyway. I may as well go to the front and actually sit out there for a period of time. I don't know what the strategy was there, but it's interesting. And even the girl that went to the front, she blew up as well and ended up, 5 back. And the Ethiopians, or I forget what country it was, just slowly wound up to the last lap and just went straight around them all.
I mean, I gave instructions to a kid in an 800 that was similar, only because I said to him, you know what? When I want you to go with them to 600, I don't care if you fail. I just want you to put yourself in a position to win the race from 600, and then just hang on for dear life. Because for me, it was all a part of be in a position to win, and if you're not good enough, then so be it. We can work with that. But I don't want to see you get to 600 a long way behind, have too much energy, and then and you got no chance of running anyone down anyway. I don't want to see that. So I know, but
sure, you need to empty the tank, and I understand doing that during your regular season.
Yeah, I know it's different. It's not like a major championship. Get it.
And you would know. I mean, even if you've got an athlete like that, you would know that he's run 2:01, in the regular season.
Yeah.
In amongst the world championships, he may have 2 minutes in him. He's not going to pull out 5 seconds, right? He's not going to make up 5 seconds. He's a 2:01 runner. So you have to go into the race with a strategy for your 2:01, knowing that he might go sub 2 minutes. He might pull out 2 seconds if he runs a race of his life. You've got to go in there with a bit of a plan.
You
But to
do.
go out and just go to the front and just blow up,
Yep.
I thought the men's 800, that Canadian guy's tall
Yes. Yes.
and sat on the back and just loped around for the first lap and then just went past everyone.
Yeah. Well, and even that 8, you got to also feel for Ingebrigtsen, who, again, everyone's calling it a failure, and so is he. He's devastated. You know, this was going to be his race, and he got
It wasn't the 800 I'm referring to. Sorry, it's a 1500 with I think the Canadian guy, actually,
Yes.
really tall Canadian guy. But yes, I know the men's 8. My God, poor guy.
Yeah. You know, and he's a phenomenal runner, and he's had a brilliant.
Phenomenal.
He just couldn't put it together on the day. You know, and people call it a failure, but he's just got a silver medal at a world championship, which is amazing. To make a final is amazing. To medal any colour, amazing. But he was expected to win, and that's where, you know, that's kind of when the expectation is to win and you don't, then obviously you're a bit gutted.
I wonder if he got, again, is that just a race strategy thing? Did he just make a mistake in the race? Because the guy had so much kick at the end and he couldn't go with him. He just couldn't hang with him.
He was out of gas. Anyway, there's all these things. But actually, one of the highlights of the World Championships is the Noah Lyles press conference.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Oh, my God. You know, do you know what he said? Hilarious. He goes, oh, and they go, oh, Noah, you must be so excited. 3 gold medals, you know, the 1, the 2, you know, and a relay, an amazing thing. And you know what he said? He said, this is Noah Lyles. He goes, well, you know what really hurts me? And they go, oh, what? And he's like, watching the NBA finals in the United States. They're calling themselves world champions. World champions of what? America? United States? Well, I've got a news flash for you. The United States isn't the world. Oh, man, he just let go on the NBA and he goes, don't get me wrong. I like the United States some of the time. That's what he said. Some of the time, you know, but let's face it, they're not world champions. And he had oh my God, he set social media on fire. And the NBA, there's got one big guy from the NBA came back and he put his picture up as well, and his caption was, "Can someone help this poor brother?" You know, but Noah Lyles took a big swipe it's so random. Like, he's in a press conference after winning 3 gold medals, and he's having a crack at the NBA, calling themselves.
Good on him.
Huh?
Good on him, because they do call themselves world champions, right? World champions of baseball, world champions of everything.
Well, and that's the thing, is that a lot of people came back and said, well, actually, he's actually right. You call him world champion, and they're just playing each other. So, you know, he is right, but it was just it was just such a random thing that no one was expecting at a press conference. So Noah Lyles, for some reason, said, he says, you know what really hurts me? Watching the NBA. Because, you know, he said, but he's obviously, I mean, he's a little bit arrogant. I mean, obviously he's on top of the world right now. 3 gold medals, winning the 1 and the 2. It's been a long time since an American has won the double. So it's a big deal. I get it.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't really. There was plenty of people that could have beaten him in the 1. So, but he got there, and there was 2 people who had run quicker times than him during the season that could have beaten him. Tebogo and Aaron Knighton. But Tebogo got his taper wrong. You can tell. He ran 2 weeks ago. Ran 19.50 and came out and ran slower.
Yeah.
So he just got it wrong.
So easy to do, though, right?
Yeah. Well, Noah did it the previous Olympics. He got it wrong. He won the bronze medal or something in a terrible time, and then went home a week later when he got his taper right and ran a faster time than the gold medalist.
Yeah.
Exactly a week later. So that's how difficult the sport of sprinting is, and to get it absolutely right. I mean, I've done it maybe once or twice. I can remember it. I've done it twice in my career where I've got my taper perfect. I did it for Finland, and I do it right for the final. I let the rounds bring me on, and I got it absolutely spot on in the final. It wasn't enough to win, but I'd run the fastest I'd run in 5 years.
Yeah.
And I did it that time when you got me all ready for that Oceania and Bendigo where I ran my PB.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
remember that?
yeah. It's a difficult thing to do, and you can see how many people get it wrong. And obviously, with these guys, and you've experienced it as well when you travel overseas and
Oh,
have to, the jet lag and the preparation and different environment, different beds, different
yeah,
food, all these things, play a massive role.
very hard.
Um, some of the steeplechase race, the 3,000 steeple were really good runs as well.
They
I
were.
watched a field of steeple.
Yeah,
That's a tough run, isn't it?
steeple's tough, but simply because, yes, you're going to get wet shoes. Jumping over a steeple interrupts rhythm. Um, and I've seen people hurdle them, and then I've seen people try and hurdle them and end up on their heads.
I
So,
saw a girl, it was maybe the second last lap, and it was the second or third last steeple. She's gone to hurdle it, and she kneed it. Hit it with
yeah.
her knee.
Oh, yeah. I've seen it. And
Straight, got herself up, flipped over the top, got herself up, and then basically hobbled to the line.
yeah.
And I thought that would have hurt. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was disappointed in some of the Australians, I have to say. I just don't think we have our coaching program together. I heard one of the commentators, and I don't know what his name is, but in the decathlon, they were saying that, and a couple of Aussie guys in the decathlon, they were saying that, we don't have good multidiscipline coaches in Australia. And it's probably a fair call as well that we haven't been known to have, decathlons here. And over the years, I mean, some of our better coaches have actually been international guys that actually come into Australia. But yeah, I don't know. I just think particularly our field athletes didn't do too bad. And again, some of the girls, did extremely well. Obviously, the pole vault. I think there was a girl in one of the field events, the javelin, doing pretty well. But yeah, I just think our coaching program at the moment in this country for absolute track is something's happened to it.
Well, it's one of the three real main issues. One, it's fragmented. Two, it's poorly funded. And three, we have a terrible culture for track and field in the country. The culture's terrible. And we lose a stack. I mean, we have a lot of talent come through our junior ranks, and then they hit 16, 17, 18, particularly with the girls, and they just vanish.
Yeah.
And you know where we're losing them to at the moment? You won't believe this, but we're losing female sprinters to league.
Yeah.
Because women's rugby league's taken off and rugby union.
Yeah.
So they're playing rugby because guess what? They're getting paid.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're not getting anything for track. They're lucky if they get a tracksuit. So, even some of our athletes that went to the World Championships were doing GoFundMes to pay for their air tickets. So that's funding is an enormous issue. And we're not a track and field country. That's a problem. I mean, they're crowing about, how good we're doing when we only managed to send 67 athletes to a World Championships. And of those 67, most of them didn't get out of the first round.
Yeah.
That's not.
What was the medal? What was the final medal tally in the end?
Actually, I'd have to have a look. The medal, let me pull it up, see if I can pull it up now.
What were the marathon times, by the way? Do you recall the marathon times, the winning times?
I don't, and that's I'll see if I can find the marathon times, but I just wanted to pull up the medal tally because I did have it up before, but I didn't check it. Let's have a look here. I'm just pulling it up now. Results, timetable, results, athletes, medal table. Okay, here we go. So United States, obviously, with 12 gold, 8 silver, and 9 bronze, 29 in total, they smashed everyone. But that's
everyone. Yeah.
Everyone. The next closest was Canada with 4 gold. And then it just trails off. So Australia, how's this? Here we go. 1 gold, 2 silver, 3 bronze. 6 medals.
Who was in front and where were we on the
12.
tally? What? And who's in 11th place?
So going down, we were beaten by Uganda, was in 11th. Then Sweden, Norway, the Netherlands were above us. Great Britain, Ethiopia, Kenya, Jamaica, Spain, Canada, the United States. Weirdly,
What's the population of Norway and Sweden?
combined?
No, individually. There's
Well,
only got to be 20 or 30 million people in Sweden, right?
no, less. No, about five, six.
Less.
Yeah,
Is there? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
nothing. Canada's got just a few more million than us, and they did better than us. I'm really
Yeah, I think they're about 40, aren't they?
Yeah, 35. Finland. See, Finland got one bronze medal, but they've got 5 million people.
Yeah, 10 million in Sweden.
10 million, is it? Yeah. All right. I'm just trying to see where Britain. So Great Britain and Northern Ireland, they finished in seventh, 2 gold, 3 silver, and 5 bronze for a total of 10 medals. Even that's pretty poor. But I know track medals are hard to come by, or track and field medals, period. But still, I just think it's pretty, for a country like Australia, first world country with all our facilities, it's pretty poor. We didn't do well. I'll see if I can find the marathon results.
Yeah, I just found it. I think it's 2:08.
What, really? That's a bit slow.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well.
Is it 2:08? I've got it here. Here's the result. See who the winner was. It's just coming up. The guy from Uganda, which was Kiplagat. Yeah, 2:08.53. That's a bit slow for him.
Must have been a slow course, yeah.
Yeah, Gabriel must have been. It could be the course. You're right, because then went all the way out to 2:08, 2:09s, 2:10s. I don't think we had a runner in it. I don't think we qualified. No, we didn't. We couldn't even get a qualifier. The United States finished quite a ways back too, 55th in 2:24. That's not a good run. So it was Uganda, Israel, and Ethiopia took out the top 3 placings. I just want to see the women's marathon. What was that? The women's marathon. What did they run? This will tell us a story as well. In terms of time. So 2 Ethiopians, 2:24, which is about right. That means the men were a bit off, because that's good times for the women if that course was tough. So there's 2 Ethiopians finished in 2:24. They were 2:24.23 and 2:24.34, so it's close, with Mauritian finishing in 3rd. And I don't think we had an Australian in, Lisa Waitman. She ran at 2:30, came 16th.
Yeah.
So not bad. Another Australian.
That's not a bad time.
Not a bad time. Isabel Bat Doyle ran 2:37.53. That translated into 43rd. But interesting, that's another thing, as you know Peter Boll, who was running great all year in the 800 and didn't make it through to the final. But to give you an idea, in 1:44.58 got you a big queue and qualified for semis. He ran 1:46, about a second slower, and finished 31st. So that's how condensed it was, around that 1:44 through to 1:46 or 1:45, 1:46. It was really condensed in terms of how close everyone was together. So it was tenths of seconds that saw people miss out on semis and ultimately the final.
Yeah.
So, and it wasn't.
Yeah, you've got to be running pretty fast in that 800 now these days to actually qualify.
That said, it wasn't a really fast 800. I mean, if you look back at London 2012, I mean, 5th place was 1:42.9, and that's a gold medal all day. The winner ran a 1:44. So, it's the 2012 London. There was some times run there that we don't think will be repeated for a very long time. In quite a few events. That was a very special Olympics, London, and in some of the times that were run. And that wasn't even with the Mickey Mouse shoes then. All the new technology hadn't even come out. So just some incredible runs.
The facilities the facilities looked amazing. I thought the track and the stadium, they did an amazing job with that. Just from a visual point of view, it looks sensational. Yeah, you're right.
That Mondo track is the fastest surface going around. And you just know it when you step onto it. I'm not sure. Did you ever get a chance to run on Mondo?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
You just know as soon as when I went to Finland, I stepped out on it. I knew I was going to run fast. You just know.
Isn't Melbourne Lakeside the blue track Mondo?
No, it's not is it Mondo?
I've ran at Sydney Olympic Park though after the Olympics when the original one was Mondo.
That was Mondo. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
We'll wrap up in a minute, but I wanted to just touch on, one of the highlights from the entire week, the golf cart crash.
The what?
Have you not seen that?
No.
Oh, can you Google that? Golf cart crash Budapest.
Okay, I've got it. I'm doing it now. It's on YouTube, is it?
You didn't see this?
No.
2 golf carts absolutely collided. T-boned the other guy.
Hang on, I'm pulling it up now. Golf cart.
This might even be our thumbnail for our video for YouTube.
No, hang on, I'm pulling it up. Let's have a look.
You got to watch this. I don't know who was driving or who was it. Maybe it was one of.
Not the one with Noah Lyles.
Yes.
I'm seeing it now. Yep. Noah Lyles.
Can you believe that?
Okay. Yeah, that's funny.
Absolutely T-boned him. I don't know what happened to the driver. Maybe it was one of Tesla's driverless carts and just didn't actually, get around the corner.
Let me see if I can find the name. By the way, there was a long jump, which was also awesome, where a guy's taken off and literally just lost himself in the air and almost landed on his head. I'll just get his name. Oh, yeah. He's gone flying through the air, almost upside down. What was his name? I'm just opening it up here. It ended up on TikTok, but I'm sure it's on YouTube as well.
The women's long jump was amazing. That girl to pull out that jump for her last jump, she was so far down, and she's the world champion, or I think she was already the world champion. She was defending world champion, and she pulled out this jump. I think she was at, I can't remember the distance the girls jumped, but I think she pulled out like another 60 or 70 centimetres in the last jump to win.
Yeah, you go and do weird long jump Jamaica Budapest, and you'll see this guy. He almost lands on his head and still jumped 8 meters.
Wow.
Yeah, he went 8 meters going through the air like he'd been thrown out of an aircraft, and then almost it lands on his shoulder and sideways, and it's still 8 meters.
Yeah, I'm watching it now.
Oh yeah, you got it. You see that?
Are you allowed to dive like that?
Well, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's illegal.
That's a long jump. That's a long dive.
Yeah, it's legal. As long as his foot was on the board and not over it, that's a legal jump. Doesn't matter how you land. But how could you go through the air like that and still go 8 meters? Are you pulling it up on the thing? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
He just lost it.
It's not a jump, it's a dive. Yeah. This is too funny. I didn't see this.
I don't know what he got wrong, but did you see how far he went down?
Oh, that's the best.
That was the best one. That was a highlight for me.
Yeah.
I saw that because I was coaching long jump yesterday out at the Performance Centre, and I had this girl. She's only 13. I said, I'm going to show you a long jump today, just so you know it. This is what you don't do.
Or not if you travel that far, it's probably not too bad, though, right?
Although I say to her, listen, if you go through the air and jump 8 meters as a 13-year-old, you can land on your head. Doesn't worry me. Like, you'll be going to the Olympics.
Yeah, too funny.
Anyway, that was pretty.
We might wrap up there. I need to get off and get a few things done, but
very good.
Well, we'll continue on with a few more sort of Budapest highlights and so forth. We might do a couple of video breakdowns. Maybe we'll do that next episode. We'll break down one of the races and just talk about where some people got it wrong and where they got it right.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Awesome. All right. That's the pod. Have a great day, mate.
You too. Cheers.